Hello students. Today's class is on a poem, the explanation of a poem, My Mother at 66 by Kamala. This is for class 12 CBSE. Introduction to the poem, if we say, just the poem My Mother at 66 is written by Kamala Das, who is very famous for capturing complexities of human relationships. The poem that we are going to read, My Mother at 66, is one of the finest examples of the human bonding, especially that of a mother and a daughter. It describes the pain and fear of the poet or a daughter of losing her mother due to the harsh reality of life, which is death. Now, the poem, we shall be just reading the poem line by line, and we shall be going on explaining the poem also. But before that, it would be better if you get a glimpse of the total poem. In the poem, My Mother at 66, the poet actually describes her mother. She says that, the mother of the poetess is 66 years old and she looks very weak and old. When the poet was returning from her parents' home and was on the way to the airport, her mother was accompanying her. She noticed that her mother was sitting with her. Her mother was sitting just beside her, and she noticed that her mother was sleeping with her mouth wide open. Her face was that of the color of ash. Her face looked very pale actually, and it looked very lifeless also. The poetess actually got disturbed with this very thought, the thought of losing her mother, the thought that her mother was growing old, and she was getting very disturbed actually by this thought, and she somehow tried to divert her attention from that thought, and she looked outside the car because she was inside the car and the car was moving. She wanted to divert her thought, and when she looked outside the car, she saw that the trees by the roadside seemed to be running, and there were young children also who were just running into the playground. So all these symbolized life actually, the running of the young children into the playground, the splinting of the trees by the roadside as if it is also running, isn't it? So all these actually symbolize life, the energy of life, the happiness that we have in our life. And all these things actually remain in sharp contrast to the appearance that she notices in her mother's face. So when the poet reaches the airport, again she looks at her ailing mother, and she sees that time also the mother looked old and dull like the weak moon in the winter season. Weak moon means the pale moon. It didn't shine actually, isn't it? So the poet was surrounded by the same fear that she had during her childhood. What fear? The fear of losing her mother. Because when you love someone, you don't want to lose, isn't it? So, since the poetess too was having a strong bond with her mother, she never wanted or she never wants to lose her mother. But when she looks at the appearance of her mother and she finds that her mother is looking so pale and so old, so it shocks her. She is hard to look at this appearance. So this fear of losing her mother disturbs her mindset up. And she thought that maybe this was the last time that she saw her mother alive. So her mother was about to die, it seemed to her. And then she tried to come out of the sadness and just try to cover the emotions. She did not try to, focus on her emotions. She tried to just keep a cover on the emotional flights that she was having at that moment. And so she tried to smile at her mother. She said that soon we are going to meet again, Mom. So the poet wanted to be with her mother again and did not want to lose her. So this is the main theme of the poem. Now we are going to explain the poem. Let's start it. The most important thing about the poem is that the poem is actually a single sentence. You can see it's very interesting. Okay, let's go on. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. What does the poetess explain over here? The poetess explains that once when she visited her parents' house in Cochin, okay, now she was leaving her parents' house and now she was going to the airport. It was Friday, and when she was driving back to the airport, her mother was also sitting beside her at the back of the car. The poet looked at her mother, and what did she see? She saw that her mother's face, her mother's mother was sitting, she was dozing, she was having her mouth open as since she was sleeping, and she looked very pale. You can see her face ashen like that of a corpse. What does that mean? Doze open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. What does that mean? That means that she saw that her mother was sleeping and her mouth was open. And when she further explains that the color of the mother's face was like that of ash, this means that there was some smoky appearance on her face. For the poetess, she looked like a dead body. It is really very heart touching, isn't it? You can see a simile is also there in this stanza. I mean, the color of the mother's face has been compared to that of a corpse when she says ashen, use of like is there. Okay? So next is, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at the young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. The poetess realizes that her mother had grown old. She felt pain for her, but soon she tried to get rid of this sad thought by diverting her thoughts towards the trees outside. The young trees, although stationary, seemed to be running very fast, as though they were sprinting. যা হয় আমরা দেখি যখন আমরা গাড়িতে চলি, আমরা যখন একটা মুভিং ভেহিকলের মধ্যে থাকি, ইনসাইড বসে থাকি, আমরা দেখি বাইরের গাড়িগুলো, বাইরের গাছগুলো বা অন্য যে কোনো কিছু যদি স্ট্যাটিক পজিশনেও থাকে কিন্তু মনে হবে অ্যাজ ইফ দে আর স্প্রিন্টিং, দৌড়ে চলে যাচ্ছে উল্টো দিকে. So when the poetess looks at her mother's pale face, she's hurt, she's shocked. কেন? Because the fear actually endows her mind, the fear of losing her mother soon. It endows her mind and it disturbs her mind setup. তো এই ডিস্টারবেন্স থেকে সে কি করছে? Poetess is trying to make a shift. তো কিভাবে শিফট করছে? She looks outside the moving car. সে কি দেখতে পাচ্ছে? দেখতে পাচ্ছে যে রাস্তাতে যে গাছগুলো আছে, as if the trees are running very fast. মনে হচ্ছে ছুটে ছুটে যাচ্ছে গাছগুলো. আরো কিছু দেখতে পাচ্ছি। কি দেখতে পেয়েছেন উনি? দেখতে পেয়েছেন যে children, they are also running out of their homes, running out of their houses, where they are running out of their houses and moving towards the playground. They are running into the playground to play. তো আমরা এই যে গাছের যে দেখতে পারলাম, গাছগুলোর মুভমেন্ট, young trees standing, and though they are standing, it seemed to her as if they are sprinting back, isn't it? Running মনে হচ্ছে. তো এই যে একটা মুভমেন্ট, একটা এজিলিটি আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি, একটা মুভমেন্ট দেখতে পাচ্ছি. মুভমেন্ট ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি, মুভমেন্টটা আমরা কি কাকে সিম্বলাইজ করি? লাইফ মুভস অন. লাইফ ক্যান নেভার বি স্টপড. সো এই কম্প্যারিজনটাকে এখানে কিন্তু পোয়েটেস নিয়ে এসেছেন। উনি বলছেন when she looks at her mother's face, she realizes that her mother is growing old. She realized this with pain, and what she says that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. দেখে মনে হচ্ছিল সত্যি মা বয়স্ক হয়ে গেছেন, হয়তো মাকে পরের বার আর দেখতে পারবো কি পারবো না বুঝতে পারছি না। শি ওয়াজ ভেরি শকড। সে কি করলো, তার অ্যাটেনশনটাকে ডাইভার্ট করবার চেষ্টা করলো বাই লুকিং আউটসাইড দ্য মুভিং কার অ্যান্ড পুট দ্যাট থট অ্যাওয়ে অ্যান্ড লুকড আউট অ্যাট ইয়াং ট্রি স্প্রিন্টিং। বলছে গাছগুলো যেন ছুটে ছুটে পিছনের দিকে চলে যাচ্ছে, seem to be running very fast as though they were sprinting, isn't it? শুধু তাই দেখেনি, the merry children, merry means very happy children spilling out of their homes, বলছে একদম ঘরের থেকে যেন ছুটে দৌড়ে বেরিয়ে আসছে, স্পিল করে বেরিয়ে আসছে। এখানেও দেখা যাচ্ছে the energy level of the small children. They're running out of their houses to move into the playground. এই সব কিছুকে কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে all these are actually in sharp contrast with the sad look, with the sad thought of the poetess. Hope up to this is clear. Next, but after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon. দেখো, আমি একটু আগে যেটা বললাম, প্রথমবার মাকে দেখে তার সে খুব শকড হলো। সে তখন তার থটটাকে ডাইভার্ট করতে চাইলো। কিভাবে ডাইভার্ট করলো? বাই লুকিং আউটসাইড দ্য মুভিং কার। আমি বললাম ওখানে কি দেখলো, ওখানে একটা এজিলিটি, মুভমেন্ট, হ্যাপিনেসের কিছু ইমেজারিজ সে দেখলো, কিছু সিম্বলস দেখতে পারলো। কিভাবে কি দেখতে পেয়েছেন উনি? উনি দেখতে পেয়েছেন গাছগুলো কিভাবে ছুটে যাচ্ছে, বাড়ির থেকে ছোট ছোট বাচ্চাগুলো দৌড়ে বেরিয়ে এসছে খেলতে যাওয়ার জন্য প্লেগ্রাউন্ডে। এই সব কিছুকে একটা কন্ট্রাস্টিং ইমেজ একটা দেয়া হলো। মনে হচ্ছিল অ্যাজ ইফ পোয়েটেস বাই লুকিং অ্যাট দোজ ইমেজেস ইজ ট্রাইং টু ফরগেট হোয়াট ওয়াজ হন্টিং হার মাইন্ড। ওকে, কিন্তু তারপর যখন সেই এয়ারপোর্টে আবার গেল, আবার যখন সিকিউরিটি চেক হলো, অ্যান্ড ওয়েন শি ওয়াজ স্ট্যান্ডিং আ ফিউ ইয়ার্স অ্যাওয়ে, বেশ মায়ের থেকে কিছুটা ডিস্টেন্সে ছিল, সে তখন মায়ের দিকে আবার তাকালো। কি দেখলো? সে লুকড অ্যাগেন অ্যাট হার। কেমন ছিল মা দেখতে? কেমন দেখাচ্ছিল? ভেরি ওয়ান, পেল অ্যাজ আ লেট উইন্টার্স মুন। ওয়ান মানে কি? ওয়ান মিনস ভেরি ডিম, উইক। Pale মানে আমরা জানি which is very dull, lusterless, colorless. Okay, so the poet here continues that when she reached the airport, she finished with the security check and stood a few yards away from her mother. She noticed her mother's aging face, which looked so dull, so weak, so pale, and as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all what she says that মানে এরপরেই আসবে কথাগুলো, যখন সে ওটা দেখলো, বাট আফটার দ্য এয়ারপোর্ট সিকিউরিটি চেক, আমি যে কথাটাকে বললাম, আবার মায়ের দিকে তাকালো, সেই একই জায়গা, একই রকম সেই এজিং ফেসটাকে মায়ের দেখলো। শি ওয়াজ লুকিং সো ডাল, শি ওয়াজ লুকিং ভেরি পেল। কেমন ছিল? বলছে লেট উইন্টার্স মুন। লেট উইন্টার্স মুন কেমন হবে? ফগ অ্যান্ড মিস্টের জন্য কি হবে? মুনটা ভেরি ক্লিয়ার হবে না, লাস্টারলেস বলে মনে হবে। বলছে মায়ের চেহারাটাকেও মনে হচ্ছিল লাস্টারলেস। ঠিক আছে? হোপ আপ টু দিস ইজ ক্লিয়ার। নেক্সট, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. আবার যখন মাকে দেখলো, সেই আবার পুরনো ছোটবেলার ভয়টা, মাকে হারিয়ে ফেলার ভয়, সেই ভয়টাই যেন আবার তাকে গ্রাস করতে লাগলো। উনি বলছেন and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. সেই পুরনো ফ্যামিলিয়ার, পরিচিত সেই ভয়টা, পরিচিত সেই ব্যথাটা আবার যেন তাকে নাড়া দিয়ে দিল। But all I said was, see you soon. যদিও সে ভয়টা কিসের ভয় ছিল? মাকে হারিয়ে ফেলার ভয় ছিল। কিন্তু সে তা সত্ত্বেও কি বলল? মাকে বলল, মা আবার দেখা হবে তোমার সাথে, খুব শিগগিরই তোমার সাথে দেখা হবে। মানে আমি সেই ভয়টাকে আমার মনে পুষে রাখতে চাইছি না, সেই ভয়টাকে আমি যেন তেন প্রকারেণ সেটাকে সরিয়ে দিতে চাইছি। আমি এটা ভাবতে চাইছি না যে মার সাথে হয়তো আমার এটাই শেষ দেখা। আমি এটা ভাবতে চাইছি না যে মায়ের সাথে হয়তো আমার আর কখনো দেখা হবে না। উনি বলছেন যে and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, see you soon. মাকে বলল যে মা, we are going to meet again very soon. Amma, all I did was smile and smile and smile. তো সে কি বলল শুধু যে মা আবার দেখা হচ্ছে, we are going to meet again very soon আম্মা, and saying that she only smiled and smiled and smiled. মনে হচ্ছিল যেন সে যেন তার স্মাইলটা দিয়েই কভার করতে চাইছিল তার যে ইমোশনাল আউটবার্স্টটাকে, তার যে ফিয়ারটাকে, সে সেটা তার মাকে বোঝাতে চাইছিল না। সো when we explain, or when we, if you have understood the poem, what you find? The poet here compares her mother to a late winter's moon also, we can see. As the moon in winters, I mean, is not very shiny, and even her mother's face had also lost her youth and shine, isn't it? So as her mother, as the mother of the poetess, was getting older and weak, the poet feels the fear of separation, just as she used to feel during her childhood. So, as a child, she could not bear the pain of getting separated from her mother. No one would bear it, isn't it? But now, as her mother has grown old and is about to die, the poetess feels that maybe this is the last time that she is seeing her mother. She tries to hide her fear. She then says that she would soon see her mother again. She says so because she does not want to lose her mother. So this is the explanation of the poem, My Mother at 66. Hope all of you have understood it clearly. Thank you for listening.